Hello, YouTube. The time has come where we are going to do the tear seals to the comic cover, Captain Marvel Adventures. And I just want to show you the tools that we're going to use, and we're going to have a little discussion, if you don't mind, before we get going. So this right here is the special paper that is going to be used for the tear seals. It's very thin and strong, and the name of the paper is Tenguju paper or Kyozo paper. Maybe Ken Titus will let me know if I'm pronouncing it correct. I don't think I am. But this is basically Japanese paper, which I believe CGC will consider as a conserved method of repairing tear seals. The spelling is Tengujo. If anyone is interested, I have rolls of this. This is just a small piece to show what I am using. Now, the conservation repair guidelines for CGC says you have tear seals you can do. You can do spine split seals, reinforcement, piece reattachment, and so forth. But these are the materials: rice paper, which this is considered, in my opinion, rice paper. So, in addition, in order for us to install, excuse my clock, to install this paper, we are going to use wheat paste. Now, wheat paste is considered, or wheat glue, is considered something that you can use for conservation, because all you have to do to revert it is soak it in water and it will come undone. So there is ways to make wheat glue naturally on the stove. I watched many videos about it, but we're going to just use the pre-made stuff because we're not that fancy. And my research reveals that it is the same type of stuff as regular wheat paste or wheat glue, making it from scratch. So this is the wheat paste or the wheat glue right here. And the way that you make it is you pour water into the powder and you mix it up. You want it, the consistency, from what I understand, at like pancake batter. So let's take a stirrer and let's start mixing it up. And we'll just take our time. We'll see how it goes. This is the first time that I'm actually doing it, so we're gonna learn together. Could I screw up? Of course I can screw up, but I don't think so. I think I'm gonna have a pretty good handle on this, because in my opinion, this is very similar to body work on Corvettes. And the reason why it's similar to body work on Corvettes is because Corvettes are made out of fiberglass. And when you repair fiberglass, you use something called fiberglass mesh, which is very similar to the paper that we are going to use. And you will see when I do it, you have to fray the ends. You cannot make it a square or a geometrical shape, because it is so obvious that the repair is done. You want to fray it. And that's a tip that I am giving whenever you use archival tape. I tell people to fray the ends. Don't put a straight piece of tape. It's very, very clear that a piece of tape is on the actual book or cover when it's a straight piece on each side. You don't want that. So me doing this right now, a little bit more water was necessary because you don't want it to be lumpy. I'm assuming you don't want it to be lumpy. It's common sense. You want to make it more of a fine consistency. So it looks like this stuff takes a while to get to the consistency that I want it to be. So I'm going to pause the camera right now, and we'll be right back when I have it the way I want it. Okay, guys, I'm back. I think I have the consistency the way I want it. So it is nice and smooth. There are little bumps in there, but we'll try to get rid of them as we go along. So let's move this to the side so we can do what we have to do. So what I'll do is I'll put it up here for now. And then what we'll do is we will get the cover ready. So here is the back of the cover of the Captain Marvel Adventures. Now, one of the issues for this book is this center area right here. So it's pretty good, meaning it's pretty flat, okay? But as you can see, there's rips here going up and down, vertically, horizontally, and then there's a rip that goes all the way up here, and there's a rip that goes all the way up here. So the key thing that I want to do is I want to cover the rip, and we want to basically get it where all of the rips are covered with the paper and the wheat glue. So, as you can see here, I want to try to do it where we are not going over areas that we don't have to, okay? So you want to rip it, you want to fray it. So here you go, I'm ripping the paper, and the ripping is very important because then you have it where it is frayed on the ends and it will be less noticeable. Another trick that I'm going to do is that I am going to paint the rips with my paintbrush. I'm going to put the paper on, and then we're going to trim the paper once it's on, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. So this piece right here covers all of the rips, but it's a very big piece. I don't want it that big. So we're going to put it to the side, and you'll see what I'm talking about very shortly. So we have our wheat paste. I have a brush. I want to take the brush and I want to dip it in the wheat paste. And then what you want to do is you want to paint the actual rip with the wheat paste, as I'm doing here. You want to go up, you want to cover the whole rip. Now I am overlapping just a little bit where the rip is. Not much. So there is your wheat paste on the rip. There is a little overlapping. And I didn't put much on. Now what I want to do is I want to take my paper that I just ripped, and it's right here, and then you want to put the paper over the wheat paste. And you might be saying, well, you are definitely not gluing a lot of sections, but you will see that's fine, because once we actually trim it, it's going to be a lot better. Okay. Okay. So we just covered it. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to press it down. And this is what is going to seal the deal. Now, you see right here, you know what? I changed my mind. I want to extend this a little bit more, because this is a very abused area. So let's just extend it over here to give it some extra protection. Okay. So here you go. I have the area covered with the Japanese tissue paper. We're pressing it down. And what you want to do then is you just want to leave it. We're going to cover it. Now I want to do a few other sections. Right here is a few rips, and we're going to tear seal that as well. And I'm going to reinforce the spine in this area. And instead of painting the actual cover, I am going to paint the actual piece of paper and place it on, because this is more of a straight repair. So there you go. And then we're going to go down, and I'm going to cover this area right here, because this has several rips in it. Okay. I lied. Okay, and I just see one other piece that I want to cover, which I should have made a little bit bigger down here. And we'll put it on to reinforce that. Okay. Now, this was done, and what I want to do, and I know I have other repairs, but I want this to dry so we don't, actually I think I can do it. We have rips along here, so let's just get it done. We have 2 rips up here. Let's put the paper on and call it quits. So here is 1 rip. And let's do the other one right now, so we can get it all done at once. Another one. Let's get that in there, nice. And where else? We have a rip here that I want to take care of. And let's put the paper on. And if I overlap the area, you'll see when it's dried what my goal is. And then I have one here I want to take care of on the top. And this stuff is great. So let's put it on. Okay, now I just want to maybe cover that corner, because that is meaning the area of the leaf casting that I did on the bottom here. Let's reinforce that a little bit. And you don't want to put much of this on. Okay. Now I think we're pretty good. Maybe just one other little piece. Now I'm looking at this. I really hope it does not stain the cover, but we will see. Time will tell. All right. Okay. So I have all the pieces done. What I want to do now is I'm going to put this on my press with the glass, and stay tuned. We'll be back when it dries. Okay, guys, I am back. The wheat paste has dried, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. Actually, I think it looks wonderful. Now, the only issue is that now I have to trim the excess. So here, it's still a little wet, the paper, but the glue is dry. So an example here is, this is the part of the Japanese tissue that was not glued down. So very simply, the way that you trim it is you want to trim a little at a time. So what I do is I lift it up, I press down on the seal, and I rip it off. So by doing it this way, it will be frayed. Just like that. That's how you remove the excess. Now, I am going to do this on the whole document, and then what I do after removing the excess is I am going to use none other than my methyl cellulose solution, and I'm going to feather out with a brush the trimmed areas, and by doing that, it's going to blend in nicely. So I'm going to do this off camera, and then next upload, everything will be done and complete, and we'll check out how it came out. And the reason why I'm going to do it off camera is because I have to get very close to finish it. I have to get my eyes right to it, and the way the camera's set up, you're going to see the back of my head. So stay tuned, YouTube. This is how you repair using Japanese cloth. As you can see, this is visible because it is not trimmed yet. So I'll lift this up and I'll gently rip off, putting nice pressure on the area in order to take it off and have it frayed. So that's it, YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, this will blend in a lot better once it's all complete, but stay tuned.